This video will help you identify and maximise your opportunities for development. It will also help you complete the second half of your personal development plan. If you haven't already completed the first half of your plan, watch the video titled What to Develop to guide you through identifying your development needs and goals and how to enter these onto your plan. A development opportunity is an action you can take to acquire new learning. This new learning may focus on improving our behaviours, skills and/or knowledge. When we talk about maximising our opportunities for development, we mean providing ourselves with more and better circumstances to acquire our desired new learning. There are two major things that we can do to maximise our opportunities for development. The first is to be active rather than passive in the pursuit of learning. We need to really drive our development, to be a career activist, to understand what we want from our career and broader life, to focus our time and energy on the things within rather than outside of our control, to capitalise on chance occurrences in life, to keep our options open, and to actively seek support from others. These topics are covered in the first video on this webpage titled Why You Need to Drive Your Development. The second thing is to think broadly about all the ways in which we can acquire this new learning. This is what we'll talk about in this video. How to think broadly about development opportunities so you can recognise and take advantage of the true range of opportunities out there. If you look at the personal development plan template, you'll see that it asks you to identify your development opportunities in relation to each development need, and list these as the actions I will take. When we think of development, our minds often go to things such as training and development courses and programmes, webinars, reading, e-learning modules, videos, and the extensive range of resources within LinkedIn Learning. These are all fantastic sources of learning. However, research indicates that this formal learning only actually accounts for 10% of the learning we acquire. This means that there is a vast range of development opportunities that we may miss out on if we only focus on formal learning. The other types of development opportunities fall into two categories: learning through experiences on the job, which accounts for 70% of our development, and learning through others, which accounts for the remaining 20%. This breakdown of learning is captured in the popular development framework known as the 70-20-10 model. The origins of this model can be traced to multiple sources, but the bulk of the credit for developing the model is attributable to the authors Morgan McCall, Michael Lombardo, and Robert Eichinger at the Centre of Creative Leadership in North Carolina. So how can you harness the development opportunities beyond formal learning? Let's start with the area that accounts for the biggest chunk of our learning, the 70% learning through experiences on the job, also referred to as experiential learning. Here, you need to recognise the opportunities you have to learn by doing. What are the new things you can have a go at and learn from? Have you been presented with a new issue or challenge that you haven't faced before? Have you been given a new assignment or task? Have you had an idea for a new way of working? Have things changed in your team or the broader university that means you now need to do something in a different way? These are all opportunities to tap into the 70% learning through experiences on the job. Try identifying opportunities that you have in this area, and also being alert to unexpected opportunities that come your way. If you'd find it helpful to have a few examples of this type of learning, check out the example development opportunities using the 70-20-10 model spreadsheet. This provides ideas for development opportunities. The columns on the sheet categorise the opportunities into the 70-20-10 types of learning, and the rows on the sheet categorise the opportunities into transferable behaviours and skills. This list should help you, but do note that it isn't exhaustive. It's much more of a starting point to help you consider the broad range of opportunities out there. You can find this document on the Drive Your Development section of the Career Development web pages, and it's linked in the YouTube description box. When you have identified opportunities to learn through experience on the job, you then need to give them a go. You need to have that experience. You need to experiment, find out what does work and what doesn't work. And you need to reflect back on your behaviours, skills and understanding. Don't be afraid to try a new approach. Don't hold back because you don't have 100% certainty that you'll be able to do something successfully the first time. Be bold, be curious. You need to give things a go and learn from these experiences. Perhaps you have a new idea about how your team can do something. Have a go at implementing this idea and see how it goes. Is it working? Do you need to make tweaks? Did you find that it didn't work as expected? Can you build on the idea? Think about what you did, what worked for you, what didn't work for you. What would you do again in the future? And what would you do differently? What do you know now that you didn't know before? What skills can you do now that you couldn't do before? And what have you learnt about your own approach and behaviours? This is how you keep getting better and better. If this idea of experimenting and learning through experience sounds daunting, you may find it advantageous to look at the topic of growth mindset. When we have a growth mindset, we believe that our talents can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and support from others. This frees us up from worrying about being perfect, and instead we put our energy into learning. We focus on just keep getting better. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, where we believe that our talents are set. In this mindset, we don't feel like we can change, and it holds us back from trying things out. It's the difference between thinking, oh, I'm just not a statistics person. I never have been, so I can't do statistical analysis. And I struggle with statistical analysis right now, but I can learn how and improve. We're all a mixture of these two mindsets, but we can evolve to see the world through more of a growth mindset. Exploring your growth mindset is a topic in its own right. If you're interested and want to know more, check out Carol Dweck's highly influential book, Mindset, Changing the Way You Think to Fulfill Your Potential. This is linked in the YouTube description box. Now let's look at the 20% of learning that we acquire through others, also referred to as social learning. How can we maximise these opportunities? Again, the starting point is to recognise where these opportunities exist so you can capitalise on them. This type of learning includes networking, collaborating with others, coaching, mentoring, having development conversations with your manager, gaining feedback from others, and shadowing or informally observing others, such as role models or other people who you think do a thing particularly well. Your performance and development review is a development opportunity that taps into a few of these. Again, you can find examples of this type of learning in the spreadsheet Example Development Opportunities using the 70-20-10 model. Try to identify opportunities that you have in this area and also be alert to unexpected or unplanned opportunities that come your way. Don't be afraid to reach out to people who can support you with this type of learning. You'll find that most people like talking about their jobs. Seek out learning through others. Who are your role models? Who can you shadow? Who can you talk to? What new connections and relationships can you make? Do you want to work with a coach or mentor? Who can provide you with feedback about your performance? And how can you welcome them to share this with you so you can learn from their perception? When you have the opportunity to learn from others, do this actively. Think about what it is that they do well. What do you observe? What is it that they say or do that is so effective? For example, perhaps you want to develop your approach in dealing with conflict, and you recognise that your line manager deals with conflict in meetings well. Can you observe specifically what they say and do that makes them so effective? What are their behaviours? Can you talk to them and learn about their approach? What would you like to emulate when you deal with conflict situations? Observing others, both in a formal shadowing capacity and informally, is a great way to develop your own performance and to find out about new roles or tasks that you might be interested in pursuing. If someone does a role that interests you, see if you can talk to them and find out more. Can you observe them, or can they talk to you through a typical day in their role? Finally, let's look at the 10% of development that comes through formal learning. Explore the full range of formal learning opportunities available to you, so you can understand what's available and how it links to your identified development needs. Use the university's learning management system to identify courses and programmes. Look out for external webinars and courses that are of interest. There are lots available for free. And explore LinkedIn Learning. Plus, don't forget that we're lucky to have the resources of the University Library at our fingertips. To complete the second half of your personal development plan, you should enter the actions you will take to achieve your development goals. You can use the 70-20-10 model to help you think about this. Do note that this model simply describes how we naturally tend to acquire learning. 70% through learning through experience, 20% through learning through others, and 10% through formal learning. This model shouldn't be seen as a rule or tick box for your development opportunities, rather as a way to understand the full range of opportunities out there and make the most of them. It's also worth noting that the 70-20-10 types of learning are interdependent rather than completely separate boxes. So when you've undertaken some formal learning or acquired some learning through others, can you make the most of it by then applying this in the workplace and turning it into a learning through experience on the job opportunity? The next box on your personal development plan is for listing support that you need. Reflect on how your manager can best support you and discuss this with them. Think of this support both in terms of empowering you to develop and in more practical terms too. Think about what blockers you may have to your development: time, energy, uncertainty, procrastination. What sort of support do you need to overcome these? And also think about who you may need to reach out to or who you may need to talk to for advice. You then need to complete the box titled Complete Goal By. Here, you need to give a reasonably specific time frame for when you will have undertaken the development opportunities and achieved the goal you specified. You don't need to give the exact date, but do note the specific number of months. When estimating this time frame, be realistic. What can you reasonably do within that time? The final box on your personal development plan is there for you to keep a running record of your progress. You can use this to keep track of where you are and to inform development conversations with your manager, mentor or coach. You should keep reviewing your plan, and it's okay to make adaptations if needed. Things may come up in the context of your work or home life that impact on your plan. It's okay to flex. The process of identifying your development needs and actions is something that you should return to periodically. You will grow and improve, and the context within which you work will change. Keep checking in to ensure that you're focusing your investment where it will be of most benefit to your work performance and career opportunities. Finally, whilst having a personal development plan gives you clarity on where you and your manager have agreed you will invest your time and energy, and helps you achieve your goals by setting these out specifically and explicitly, always remember to keep yourself open to those unanticipated opportunities and chance happenings that aren't in your plan but are well worth grasping. Have a plan, have a focus, but be open to the unexpected.